Hey guys, in this video I'm talking about the difference between an autism meltdown and a panic attack. Don't go anywhere, coming right up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos on this type of content. So if you're new around here, you stumbled across this video and you want to learn more about that subject, make sure to hit that subscribe button by clicking that notification bell down below. And if you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a like and a follow to see more videos just like this one. Boom. Okay, so I have been putting videos online for a while and people ask me the same question. They always want to know, what's the difference between an autism meltdown and a panic attack? Is there a difference? You know, what the ins and outs, how does it differ? And so I wanted to do this video to talk about the differences that I can personally talk about, that as the main difference between the two. And with that, I thought it'd be cool to make a video. So yeah, let's get into it. So before we actually hit the video content, I just want to ask, if you aren't already, please go and check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. Give me a follow on those platforms. I actually upload content on all those too. And I also read my DMs, so if you want to reach out to me, so it's better to do it on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, so let's talk about autism meltdowns for the first part of it. So autism meltdowns consist of an overload that is present in the person on the autism spectrum, and the overload then causes an emotional kind of like outburst and a complete lack of control for their emotions and everything that's going on around them. So this could be down to sensory input or sensory overload, because autism comes with something called sensory processing disorder, and sensory processing disorder, or SPD, actually impacts the way that the brain intakes sensory input from external stimuli. So for instance, if you are susceptible to smells, maybe you're autistic and you don't like certain smells of like perfumes or whatever, if you walk into like a perfume store, then the overload of perfume may actually send you and cause you triggered to have a meltdown. Now a meltdown happens when the communication is lost between how much data someone can process from outside and how much they can actually focus on the task at hand. Now people with autism have a real difficulty taking in too much overload data. So there's noises and smells, or maybe it's hot and maybe someone's really close to you, but all the while your brain is trying to focus on just trying to do the task at hand, which is going to the store and doing something like shopping for groceries, or like going to get a new t-shirt or a pair of trousers or something. Now the task at hand takes your initial focus, but the external stimuli, which is out of your control, takes over and kind of, it's like somebody nagging you. It's like somebody sitting on your shoulder going like da 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 da, and I'm like ah, and then it's like oh, this thing, and then it like causes me to really just flip. You know, my trigger is like set, and then that's it, bang, it's like no, and then I just like lose it, I emotionally lose it. I can't physically stand being in that moment because it's all just too much. And that in essence is how an autism meltdown occurs. Meltdowns can happen for a few things. It could be a change in routine, like I said before, sensory issues. It could be an unforeseen circumstance that comes in, so maybe not a change in routine but something that's added onto the routine. So it's like, maybe you go somewhere and you sit down to have a sandwich, but the sandwich place doesn't have the bread or the sandwich that you want. Now that's a huge like curveball, and that could cause a meltdown, which actually did happen to me a few times, and I've mentioned this story a couple of times. It's really annoying, but that actually did happen to me. So you can see clearly how an autism meltdown kind of constructs itself, and also an autism meltdown can last maybe, I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes maximum, and that meltdown then can, there's be lots of crying and like hitting yourself in the head and really feeling like a loss of despair, and this emotional kind of like exhaustion leaves a person feeling exhausted, so they may take an entire day to overcome that. And I did a video all about autism meltdowns, which I will leave in a card above here and in the pinned comment at the bottom of this video and on the end screen, so you can check out autism meltdowns in more detail in that video. But in terms of this video, I'm talking about it in its very basic form, so I can show you the difference between that and a panic attack. Now, in autism meltdown, it will take someone a while to recover from it, and then they need that time to really kind of have a sense of overcoming the emotional exhaustion and to re-energize themselves and recharge those batteries. So autism meltdown in integrity can last like 2 days, which is not good. And if you know what I'm talking about the whole, you know, recharging your batteries and stuff, give this video a thumbs up. I'd love to know how, you know, how I relate to you guys. It'd be super, super awesome. Okay, so let's shift our attention to panic attacks. Now, a panic attack is an emotional response to a feeling of over anxiousness and nervousness. Now, anxiety does come with autism, and it could be a causing factor for a meltdown. But the difference between a meltdown and a panic attack in this specific instance is that a panic attack comes from a lack of overload of anxiety. So you're anxious and nervous about a situation, and then you just start to worry too much about the situation, and then it all becomes a bit too much, and then you start breathing irregularly, and then you feel like super stressed out, and you start panicking about, I don't know where the next safest exit is going to be, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know, safely in this, you know, the environment that I'm in and the situation that presents itself. And the panic attack is your brain over analyzing a situation mixed with anxiety, then adrenaline comes in and rushes through your body, and then it makes you like hyperventilate, it makes you kind of really, you know, be agitated, not really know what's going on, and you kind of just have an all out like, look, I just can't do it, and you need time to calm down. Now, a panic attack can last, you know, from 2 minutes to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, but it's over very quickly in comparison to a meltdown. Now, a panic attack, you can have the panic attack and it kind of spikes your adrenaline, and then it kind of flats, and that kind of come down can make you feel a little bit sick and dehydrated. But after, you know, calming down for maybe, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour, 35 minutes, you can then come around a bit from having a panic attack, and then reassess the day, reassess the situation, and go forth and try and learn from that panic attack. And also, a panic attack is a response from a mental health condition like anxiety, when autism meltdowns occur from neurological conditions due to communication pathways in the brain which don't sync up as they do in a neurotypical person. So that is kind of the definition. So you can see now, if you can quite clearly identify an autism meltdown to a panic attack. A panic attack, again, heavy breathing, you know, over anxious and stress, but like a meltdown is an outburst of emotions that someone loses control. They can't think straight. That overwhelming kind of meltdown takes over their entire being at that moment in time, and it you know, it just digest them, and that's the whole premise of a meltdown. But again, with panic attacks, they can be overcome, and also certain medication can help with panic attacks, especially if you're, you know, taking medication for anxiety. This would help reduce the risk of a panic attack, where anxiety medication really wouldn't do the trick with autism meltdowns, because it's the way the brain has fused on its kind of like creation, and those neurological paths are slightly different to that of a neurotypical person. And when I say the word neurotypical, I mean somebody who is not on the autism spectrum. That being said, I'd love to know what your take on the difference between an autism meltdown and panic attack is. I actually have both of those. I've had panic attacks, and I have panic attacks, and I've had meltdowns, and I do have autism meltdowns still. So if you would like to add anything to it, pop it in a comment down below. I read and respond to every single comment, and I'd love to have that discussion and conversation with you. If you think this video can help somebody else, please share it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and anywhere you think is fit. And if you're new around here and you'd like to see more videos, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.